All right. Everyone would stand. Doug, you'll say the prayer. Sure.
Dear Heavenly Father, we just ask that you be with us this evening as we come together and try to make the best decisions for the district, Lord. We just ask that you be with each and every faculty member and student, Lord, as we approach the end of school here. Lord, get them through it. Keep them safe, Lord. As we send them off for summer, Lord, just let them get rested and enjoy their summer, Lord. We ask all these things in Jesus' holy and precious name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
honor the Texas flag.
I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
Sir, you're welcome. All right, Mrs. Bidwell, do you have anything to talk about right now?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Good evening. I'm Tracy Bidwell, wife of Logan Bidwell and mom to Briggs, Lincoln, Atticus, and Breyer. I felt the need to come tonight and speak because it's hiring season and there are important decisions that need to be made. I must preface this with a reminder that I fully support SFISD. I brainstormed with Logan on ways that we could get the bond information out to the community so that they would know what they were voting for on election day. So I hope that helps you understand where my heart's coming from. If there's anything I've learned over the last couple of years, it's that public education is a business. With that in mind, I would like for you to imagine how you would want the business run if it was yours. If it was your money and your name, your reputation and character, your integrity and your legacy, all on the line. You most likely wouldn't hire someone who barely meets the requirements to perform the job. You probably wouldn't hire someone who has no references or bad references. If you knew they struggled at their last place of employment, you would have to weigh whether it's worth putting them in the same position in your business or not. You have to decide, and I want you to think about it in the sense of this could make my business succeed or this could make my business fail. It's that important. It's not a secret that our family homeschooled for years, so I present another perspective. It is a weekly, if not daily, sacrifice that I make as a mom when I choose to send my kids to school. It isn't because I hate the district or think that I'm better than any of our teachers. I love our teachers. I just genuinely feel that my family is my ministry and I want to play a major role in their education. With that said, I take the hires and the teachers already on staff very seriously each year. If I feel that I am already sacrificing my time with my children, then I want it to be worth it. When 8th graders are given crossword puzzles as major sources of grades, or coaches just decide not to show up to practices or games, it's really disheartening. When the district settles on teachers, it does nothing for our kids. We don't want our kids to settle on anything. And that's proven with the STAR testing. We don't want them to get meets or approaches. We want them to get masters. And we should have that same idea whenever we're making hires for the district. Please, go find the teachers and the coaches and the directors that are going to fight for our kids and make them into true champions.
Thank you. Okay. Emily, do you want to talk now?
She's my guest.
Oh, okay. Okay, so she signed up.
I just signed in. I didn't read the directions fully. I asked my kids to. I'm sorry.
All right. Now we'll start with that. Let's start with Mrs. McCowan.
I want to ask Ms. Sanders and Braxton Moneymaker to join me this evening. Our kids had the opportunity to go to BizTown just like middle school did. They went in the fall semester. We went this semester just last week, and it was a great, great experience. They had to apply for their positions. They were given a job based on basically their strengths, their weaknesses, and what we felt like they would be best fit for. And I also want to say that our math, Ms. Sanders and our science and social studies teacher, Ms. Anderson, had 13 extra lessons to teach, not only preparing our kids for our STAR test, but also on top of that, these 13 lessons to prepare them to go to BizTown. It all ties together. However, it was more to ask of them, and they took it on willingly. And we watched last week, the kids went in, and the CEOs, we had several that were CEOs, several that were CFOs, our mayor, and they took those roles very, very seriously. And it was a great experience. So, and Ms. Sanders and I think Brax they're going to present a little information about that tonight.
Okay, so when we prepared to go to BizTown, so it was a privilege and the kids had to earn it. We had to do several lessons, so it took us about 6 weeks between myself and Ms. Anderson. We did some personal finance and we did some social skills, how to obtain a job, how to behave when you got to a job, what was required, that you need to show up, you need to do your job, don't be playing around. And we learned some things you do in the real world. And then the day we got there, so they had to perform their job, and they created some things in their different businesses to sell. And then they all earned a paycheck, and all the kids that were there, I think it was about 96 kids that day, they all had to go to Happy State Bank, and they deposited their paychecks, and they had to fill out deposit slips, and they got debit cards, they had checks, they had cash, and they were allowed to spend those around at the different businesses. And so the kids learned a lot about personal finance. They learned that when they spent all their money, that debit card didn't work anymore. And they really had a good time. And so our CFOs and our CEOs and our mayor all had to make several speeches during the day. And they took their roles very seriously. We had a police officer that if the kids were running, he wrote tickets. We had kids that went to different businesses and they read their gas meter and their electric meter. They all had to pay bills at their business. They all had to take out a business loan. And they had to, during the day, pay off their business loan. So it was very real life, and it was a very good experience for them. And now I have our mayor, and he can make a speech for us again.
My name is Braxton Moneymaker. I had the opportunity to participate in this town recently. I was elected mayor of this town. My duties as mayor include giving speeches, holding elections for businesses, and running all of the activities in this town for the day. At BizTown, all the students received a paycheck that deposited at Happy State Bank. BizTown was a fun learning. Students were allowed to spend cash, use a debit card, and write checks to buy trinkets at the businesses. BizTown was a fun learning experience. I 10 out of 10 recommend participating in BizTown. Thank you. Good job.
All right, Mrs. Carr.
I brought Miss Benson, who teaches our 6th grade ELA class, and she had her kiddos get into groups and write children's books. And then a few of those groups got to go to the elementary earlier this week, and they read their books to several of the elementary classes over there. So she brought one group, and I think they're going to review their book. So,
We need to come up there, or? Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Where's my page? This is the group that won. I just want y'all to know it was a very hard competition. They all were really great. 4 got to go to the elementary, and this was the group that was picked. But I mean, I would have brought all of them if we would have had time, but we just don't. And the reason I did this, this was our end of year project, and they read passages all day long, right? And then they have to do ECRs and SCRs. and they have to write to a very high standard to an adult. So I thought, let's take our writing and make it fun and knock it down so that they can be the big people, not writing to big people. They can write to little people and be the author of something that somebody that would really want to enjoy their book. And so there you go, Elise, take the floor.
So our children's book is called A Step Too Far. It was written by Elise Sanders and Paige Lance, which is me and her, and it was illustrated by Reagan Hardy and Aiden Green. Unfortunately, Aiden Green isn't here today, but she is, and she did a lot of it, basically most of it. On a sunny summer day at Birkingham Park, Amelia, Brody, and William were having a fun time playing. Then Amelia saw something, a really cool something. "Guys, look at this board game I found," Amelia exclaimed. They all walked over to it, and then it started glowing. "Whoa!" they all said amazed. "Let's play," Brody interrupted. This is the park they're playing at, and that's the board game. As soon as they walked over to it and picked it up, they got sucked into the board game. When they woke up, they saw an entrance to a place called Friendly Forest. What just happened?" Brody asked. "I don't know," Amelia replied. "I think we should go in," William said. "Okay then, let's go," Brody said as they all walked in. As soon as they walked in, they saw dancing monkeys. "Whoa, dancing monkeys," Brody exclaimed. "They're so cute," Amelia said. When they finally stopped watching the dancing monkeys, they saw Wild Waters. "I think that's where we go next," Amelia pointed out. Then they walked to Wild Waters. That's the Friendly Forest, and that's the dancing monkeys, and this is them looking down at the board game. After watching the dancing monkeys, they made their way to Wild Waters. When they got there, crocodiles were floating down the river. "There's no way we'll get across that river unless we jump on those crocodiles," Brody said. "What? No way. Those crocodiles look mean and hungry," William said, terrified. Just then, a man on a cloud swooped in and rained pickles from his cloud. When he was done, the crocodiles were fed and couldn't eat another bite. Then, the kids could jump across safely. "Howdy, kids. I'm Mr. Pickles," the man said. "Thank you for saving us from those crockies," Amelia thanked. "No problem. Just doing my job," he replied. "Where do we go now?" Brody asked. "Down that trail. It's called Towering Trail," the man said. Then they headed on their way. "Look, I see Lava Lagoon," Brody said. They all walked down the long, dark, winding trail. "Gulp," William said. "I think we have to jump on those stones," Brody said. "But that's scary," William yelled. "Just be brave, Will," Amelia said. They all jumped across and made it to the end. "There's the exit. Let's go." They all walked through the door and escaped the game.
Real quick, they had requirements they had to meet for all books. They had to have illustrations, they had to have a theme, author's purpose, point of view, and good grammar. I think that was the 5. And so Elise, will you tell them what your theme was, what y'all's theme was on the book?
Our theme was to never give up.
And that's how we incorporated it, not just fun writing, but we were learning and putting to use our text that we learned about this year. Thank you, guys.
All right, Mr. Drury, do you have any guests?
No, I guess mine were able to make it.
Okay. Right. Coach Lee, do you have any?
No,
guests?
sir.
Okay. All right. That takes care of that. Y'all did a great job. Thank y'all very much for coming. If y'all want to stay for the rest of the meeting, y'all are more than welcome to stay. And if not, y'all can go on.
Thank you. Show more, David. Show more, please. Where's Paige? Show more, Paige.
Thank you.
Right. Need to canvass the bond election. So, here's.
Okay. All right. If you look at that, we had two propositions, Proposition A and Proposition B. They both passed. Proposition A passed 125 to 50. Proposition B passed 124 to 51. And so, what are we gonna do? I'm just gonna.
Just have to have the motion. And then I'll edit it to add that Rusty's absent during, while y'all are in executive session.
Okay.
I move to approve the canvassing order of the 2024 bond election.
Have a motion by Chad, do I have a second? Second. Second by Doug, all in favor? All in favor, none opposed, motion carries.
All right, then the trustee election, the totals were Doug Moneymaker 113, Chad Marshall 91, Ben Allen 71, and Tyler Brassfield 22.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the trustee election?
I move to approve the trustee election as presented.
Motion by Stacy, do I have a second? Second. Second by Mike, all in favor? All in favor, none opposed, motion carries. Huh? Is he pretty sure? All right, we'll do the newly elected officer statement and oath. Chad and Doug.
Not here, we gotta go front.
Tom, you can stand right there.
Who was the second on that? Sorry.
Hold up your right hand. Right? Yes. Great. I, Chad Marshall, do solemnly swear that I have not directly or indirectly paid, offered, promised to pay, contributed, or promised to contribute any money or thing of value, or promised any public office or employment for the giving or withholding of a vote at the election at which I was elected, or as a reward to secure my appointment or confirmation, whichever the case may be, so help me God. I, Chad Marshall, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of School Board Trustee for the Sanford Fritch Independent School District of the state of Texas, and will to the best of my ability preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state, so help me God.
I, Doug Moneymaker, do solemnly swear that I have not directly or indirectly paid, offered, promised to pay, contributed, or promised to contribute any money or thing of value, or promised any public office or employment for the giving or withholding of a vote at the election at which I was elected, or as a reward to secure my appointment or confirmation, whichever the case may be, so help me God. I, Doug Moneymaker, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of School Board Trustee for the Sanford Fritch Independent School District of the state of Texas, and will to the best of my ability preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state. So help me God.
All right, we're gonna move on and reorganize the board. First is elect president.
I nominate Billy Rabbit.
Nomination. Any other nominations? No other nominations? Okay. That would be, I'll be president, so we're gonna go to vice president. Any nominations for vice president?
Logan.
Nomination for Logan. Any other nominations? No? Okay. Logan, you are vice president. Secretary. You have any motions?
I nominate Chad Marshall.
Yeah, I'll get Rusty while he's not here.
Okay, we have one for Chad. Anybody, any other nominations? No? Okay. So Chad, you'll be secretary. All right, let's move on to the consent agenda. Does anybody have any questions on the consent agenda? All right, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Have a motion by Mike. You want a second?
Second.
Second by Chad. All in favor? All in favor, none opposed, motion carries. All right. On the regular agenda, let's discuss the district improvement plan.
Okay, so really we have to go over our district improvement plan. We sent out surveys to parents, students, and teachers about a month ago, and then got survey results back for what community people felt like we needed to do for our district. And so then about 2 weeks ago, our district committee met, looked over the survey results, and decided if our district plan met the needs of what was addressed in those surveys. The committee felt like the current plan was good, and so we're going to just continue this plan on to next year with how we're already meeting our needs. So this one actually starts us for next year, and then we'll meet again in September. The committee will get together in September, and we'll just make sure, like, is the plan really still meeting the needs from what we've seen from the start of school? So it's really the same plan we had last year.
Anybody have any questions? No? Okay.
The only thing that's changed, and there was a little bit of the funding, how we are allotting some of our, oh gosh, what is it we changed? The
State comp ed?
state comp ed funds, how we're spending that. We haven't changed how we're funding some of our staff, and that's all that changed in there.
Okay. All right. Do I have a motion to approve the district improvement plan?
I move to approve the district improvement plan.
Have a motion by Doug. Have a second. Second by Logan. All in favor? All in favor, none opposed, motion carries. All right, Mr. Hine on the elementary gym and cafeteria roof.
I was gonna bring this to you in the last meeting, but they didn't have the bid ready for me yet. So we have two portions of the elementary roof that have not had a new coating on them. They are a flat metal roof, just like the roof above us, but it does have some areas where it leaks around the edges. There was a leak that was pointed out to us in one of the hallways, and then sometimes it leaks around the gym walls. If you walk in, you can sometimes see some water running down those. So we had them look at it, and their suggestion was to do the exact same thing we did with the rest of the building, is they'll go down and put some material in between the ribs of the metal so that it's flat, put down a flat layer of material, and then put the Duralast with the 20-year warranty on it. The exact same thing we'll end up doing at the high school as well, except the high school, they won't have to do the rib thing because that's already done. But anyway, so it'll just make that roof, it's the last big piece of roof for the, at the elementary that's not covered. There's a little bit, like if you're from the road and you look at it, over the cafeteria there's a little bitty overhang that's still metal that's not covered. It's the only piece, but it's at a significant slant, and we don't really have to do these there. So hopefully it'll be the last piece of elementary roof we would have to do. Okay, so
That's because they didn't do that before, right?
They did not do that, this portion of the roof. This wasn't part of the, you know, we had the problems with the incorrectly installed roof. This wasn't that roof. This roof has been the same since the building was originally built. So, any other questions?
And it's about 200, or it is 200.
It's 200,057 cents. I don't know why they wanted to add the 57 cents on there, but.
Okay, anybody have any questions?
And they would do it at the same time that they're gonna do the high school repairs. So it'll be done this summer.
So it'll all be done at the same time.
Yes, it's actually cheaper because we can do it while they're already here.
Sure. Any questions for Richard? Got to do it. So, okay. We have a motion to approve the repairs for the elementary roof.
I move to approve the elementary roof repair estimate from Corey Elwood.
Motion by Chad, second. Second by Doug. All in favor? All in favor, none opposed, motion carries. All right, we'll go to campus reports and start with Ms. Cowan.
Right. Our enrollment has stayed pretty steady this year. We're at 332. Our attendance rate, about the same. We're at 93.67. We are a busy, busy campus, especially the last couple of weeks of school. Today we had our Fun in the Sun, which is organized by PTO. We had tons of volunteers and lots of parents today, and it was a great day. In the month of May, we celebrated our cafeteria workers. We had some pictures. Our PTO does it as a fundraiser. We celebrated our teachers all week, which was fabulous, and they enjoyed that. Our students raised about $540 for Jonathan Alejandro, who is going to nationals, and we donated that, and he was super excited about that. We've had several field trips. We did have our 5th grade transition meeting where we bring our kids over to the junior high. They are super afraid if they haven't been in the junior high, if they don't have any siblings. And so we found last year that it really puts their mind at ease when they figure out there's just 2 hallways and they're not going to get lost. And so Ms. Carr is really gracious, and she shows them around, and they leave with just a sense of ease, and they're ready for that next step. So we went over on the 7th. We've celebrated our nurse. We had an opportunity this year. Snapology is something new in Amarillo, and it's a STEM facility where you put Legos together and you create robots. And so our GT kids went over and they gifted that to us and went over and spent some time over there and enjoyed that. And that may be something that we look at doing next year again. We had our seniors come and walk the halls, which is always fun. We talked about BizTown. We finished our NWA testing and saw some really great growth with our teachers and our students, and that was exciting. We had our Fun in the Sun and our field day, and we did our field day over at the elementary this year because the track was being worked on, and that worked well. Coach Hab did a great job organizing that. Tomorrow we are celebrating our students who met their AR or math goal this year in 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. We are taking them to WT to swim. We have about 15 adults going, and parents are more than welcome to attend. And we are going to go, we have 160 kids that we're taking that have met their goals. So we're excited. We're going to feed them pizza, a lot of pizza, and take them to WT for a little bit tomorrow. And then we'll conclude on Friday with kindergarten graduation. So it's been busy. Our kids have had lots of great experiences. I also want to say that my church in Amarillo, Hillside Christian Church, donated $11,000 worth of gift cards to our middle school and our elementary families that were affected by the fires. So every family got around $300 worth of gift cards, and they've been picking those up, and they're super excited. We still have donations coming in, and so that's awesome. We had some families come today to pick that up. Our last page, the pictures, are just of some experiences our kids have had. We want to celebrate our staff. We think that's really important. So all of our staff days, our nurse day, our cafeteria days, we make sure that we make a big deal out of that. And down at the very bottom, we did our pre-K roundup a little differently this year. We wanted them to come in and the cheerleaders were there, the mascot was there. We borrowed the backdrop, excuse me. They got to sign their name on a certificate and the kids were super excited. They were escorted to the room to see the room, and that also helps mamas, especially when it's their oldest, because they're nervous. And so that went really, really well. We had about 20 pre-K students at that pre-K roundup, and we have more that we know of that weren't able to attend that have already stopped by the office. So it's been a really good year, a busy year, a really good year, and our teachers are tired and they're ready for their summer break, but they finished very strong, and our kids are excited too.
Good deal. All right. Thank you. Anybody have any questions for Mrs. Carter? All right, Mrs. Carter.
So my first page just talks about some stuff that we had going on since our last meeting. Miss Lawson took her kids from her life skills class to the Discovery Center, and they had lots of fun with that. Our 7th grade band competed in competition, and they got all ones. We celebrated Administrative Professionals Day with Kira and Courtney, who I would be lost without. We completed all of our STAR testing and completed all of our end of year and NWEA testing. Our NWEA testing showed really good growth. I'm pretty excited to see that hopefully that transfers over into our STAR test results. We celebrated Teacher Appreciation Week. Our student council is really the one that does all of that stuff for our campus. Smitty Brothers donated lunch to us one day, and the student council just provided snacks and all kinds of stuff for our staff for the rest of the week, so that was great. Like Ms. McCowan said, she brought the 5th graders over there to tour the junior high. Their main questions: do we have to walk in a straight line in the hallways? Can we sit wherever we want to in the cafeteria? And when they heard yes and yes, they're ready. So. Our band, some of our 8th grade band kiddos that are in a high school band, they got to go on that band trip to Branson, and they had a great time doing that. Ms. Vinson, earlier this week, took those kiddos over to the elementary to read those books that they had written, and today we had our junior high Eagle Awards, and we had a ton of parents on campus, so that was great to see all those parents there for that. On the next page is just our last couple of months of Student of the Month kiddos. We like to celebrate them every month. They do a great job. Next is our attendance. We're holding strong at 162 kiddos, and we have about 94.5% attendance rate, so holding pretty strong there. The last is just some of our NWEA growth and end of the year test growth that I put on there. It all looks really good. Ms. Riggle had 60.5% of her kids grow, which is great. I don't know if y'all remember, but for teacher incentive allotment, the lowest level you have to get snapped at 55. So anything over 55 and above is really good. Ms. Benson had 59.2. Ms. Hell's 8th grade math class had 55.6. Ms. Deathridge's 7th grade math class had 60.7, and Ms. Robinson's 8th grade science had 70.9. And then the bottom there is Mr. Timmons. His looks a little different because he has to take a different test, and he had 37% growth. So, we're just finishing up the year, ready for summer.
Ready for the next 2 days, huh?
Yes.
Good deal. All right, Mr. Drury.
Okay. On the second next page, yeah. Our enrollment, we have 71 freshmen, 57 sophomores, 53 juniors, 51 seniors, for a total of 232, which is, we too have been pretty steady, real close to that all year long. Our attendance rate is 94.12%. We've also been doing STAR testing and NWEA testing. Our growth on our NWEA testing overall was really, really good. I was really pleased with what we had overall. And then we celebrated Teacher Appreciation Week. This page right here shows the band playing in front of Silver Dollar City. They got to go, had a great time. They behaved themselves well, and so they got to perform there at Silver Dollar City. And then on the next page, this is the group I thought was gonna be here tonight, and they didn't get to come. This is our CNA seniors who did have their signing day. And they're going into various medical fields, but we had several of them. They did really well. Ms. Cheney does an awesome job with them, and I was really proud. I wish they could have been here. Also, last time I brought the BPA group, and I don't know if they're going to be back quite so soon, but they did very well. The ones who went for BPA were Zoe Dethridge, Debbie Reno, Jaden Durod, and Benjamin Sylvie, and they got first place in nationals. They were up against about 60 other teams from the U.S. and other countries. They were competing in administrative support, which involves Microsoft Office 365 Suite, and so they've been extremely proud there. And then they turned around and flew to Austin to compete at state in accounting, and three of them were the same members. It was Zoe Dethridge, Jaden Durod, Benjamin Sylvie, and Jonathan Alejandro joined them there, and they got first place in accounting at state. So extremely proud, represented us so well, and they just got back. Well, no, we got back. They weren't coming back, I don't think, until today sometime. So anyway, they did very, very well. And then after that, I have the things that are coming up. Well, some of them already happened. We had our athletic banquet. NHLS helped with the elementary track meet. Eagle Theater's end of the year party's coming up. Well, they already had it, sorry. And then baccalaureate is tomorrow, and then graduation Friday, and we're there. So, do you have any questions? Thank you.
Thanks, sir. All right, Coach Lee.
You can see the dates of activities that happened from the last board meeting, lots of games in a short amount of time, overview there. April 29th, April 30th, Danner Price competed at UIL State Golf Meet. After the first day, he was actually sitting in second place and held that pretty good way through it. Ended up hitting a tree, kicked down into water, and that kind of sunk him there as far as being a state champ, but still finished sixth place. Excellent finish. On May 7th, we went down and got physicals for our student athletes. It's changed a little bit, maybe privacy, modesty from the cattle call days where you could get everyone through to having to pick and choose to get some. Well, we tried to get our athletes that needed it a physical at no cost to them, so that was nice. We were not able, when this report was due, to list our all-district softball, all-district baseball because of the rules for announcement. The coaches are trying to get to their athletes today, though, because it will become public and go out on social media. We're represented on both of those teams, though, so congratulate those individuals. And then added our weight room maxes. It was encouraging to watch our athletes get excited, particularly our young females, the confidence that comes from that, and them looking at it as another way to measure, here's where I was at, here's where I'm going. And so at the end of the school year, a lot of different things going on in a short amount of time, but those were the high points.
Any questions? Thanks, sir. All right, Ms. Searles.
All right, I listed what's been going on, but mostly I've been working on, ordering new curriculum. We have new science curriculum, so that was actually opened up today. So I've been working on purchasing science curriculum for next year. I've put a lot of work into the teacher incentive allotment. Our NWEA testing wrapped up Friday, and so I'm working on pulling reports. Then checking, double checking, sending numbers out to teachers, having them check numbers with me, and then looking at what their designations possibly could be. As of right now, preliminary numbers look like we're going to be able to recognize or designate 16 out of the 35 teachers who are eligible for teacher incentive allotment, so I'm pretty excited about that. We have teachers in every designation level from masters to exemplary to recognized. So and we span all the levels. And so what we do is we just double check the data through the summer, make sure we don't have any mistakes, and then we submit that to the state in October, and then we wait to see if they accept the numbers. And so we have some teachers that are pretty excited. Master's level teachers could get $20,000 a year added on to their, as a stipend. Exemplaries are around the $11,000 range a year for 5 years. Recognized is about $5,300 a year for 5 years, just extra money. And the nice thing about it is it pays the teachers. Really, they didn't have to do anything extra. It's just their job. But it gives them the recognition for the hard work they put in. And in the end, it just benefits our students, because when the teachers are excited and they're working hard, they put the extra effort into our students, who ultimately reap the benefits from the teachers' hard work. So that's what I've been putting a lot of work into, and I'm excited that we're going to get this, and we'll keep working on getting some more teachers designated next year if we can. So hopefully this will all turn out and then we'll get the benefits.
Any questions?
Can you just remind me, so once you've been nominated and you've been, say it's been accepted, can you bump up during that time
Yes.
frame? You can.
Yes, and we actually do have that. So there's some teachers who know like what level, they all kind of know what level they're at right now. And we actually had a teacher who is going to be at the recognized level for next year, and she thought about doing something different. But now she sees that, okay, I could bump up to exemplary or master, so that's what she's already set a goal for next year. So they see that they can bump up, they can't go down, but they can bump up to the next level the next year. So we have some teachers that are like, okay, like I was a little bit frustrated, but now that I see where I'm at, I can bump up, and that could be even better. So it's helping keep some teachers in, some of those English, math areas. We had a teacher who had thought about leaving because she had a frustrated year, but she's like, nope, I'm going to stick around because I'm going to get this extra money. My hard work is paying off, and so, and that's what the whole point of the teacher incentive allotment was, to recruit and retain high-quality employees for our district. And so, with the pay scale for teachers, how hard they work, and the pay is not always the reward. This is putting that extra, reward out there, and hopefully eventually we can add all teaching fields into this as we can grow the program, where more people can retain and get the benefit from it. But we're starting small. Hopefully our program works well, and then we can start adding in modifications to that, making it bigger and better if it works.
How long does the state have to make a decision?
So when we submit our data in October, we get somewhat of a preliminary notification in January. So there's a gap there, and then they pay out in April of next year, and we have to have it paid by August. And our plan as a district is to pay them a 1-month stipend in June, is how we're going to pay it. So October to January is the gap.
Okay, thank you.
You said there's 16 of them,
Yes.
and they're divided between 3 campuses?
Yes, so
Maybe how
next
they're
month,
split?
I'm gonna have like a little chart for you to show you like designation levels, campuses, so you'll see the split. Also, they have us this summer sort of look at, if we have any skew in the data, to try to see like where the different groups are, so we can also help better help those teachers.
Right.
As a group, we've also, as administrators, we talked a little bit about, some of our teachers felt like they didn't really know the T-test system very well. Like, how do they get bumped up to those next levels? So one of our professional developments we want to add in August is to go over that T-test rubric better, so our teachers know, okay, here's what an accomplished teacher looks like versus here's what a distinguished teacher looks like. That way they can also see how the ratings move up and what we look for. We explained it, but then now as we've gone through and we've talked with teachers more, they're like, well, I didn't really know that. So we're going to do a better job as administrators of explaining the rubric to the teachers, so they also can see, here's how I bump up from this level to this level, because we want them to, move up as well.
Sure. Okay. Any other questions? All right, Mr. Hunt.
Okay, I'm going to start off on my financial report, and just to go down and look at the refined ADA. This report we did it through the end of April. Yeah, we did through the end of April, was at 654.752. When we did it through the end of May, or through last week, it's even up a little bit from that. So we're going to end the year at 655 roughly. We budgeted for 635, so that's really good. We didn't see a big drop off after the fires, which, you know, we worked hard to try to not see that. So, so really happy where we're going to end up the year. We have got the results back. There's a couple things that came back after I did my report. We got the results back from our appeal of our property values, and they were able to get, you know, a little bit of value increase, but it still didn't match what the state wanted, so we were assigned state values, you know, which is exactly what we expected. We won't know again for a while. I mean, property values did increase significantly again, so, you know, hopefully next year they've increased enough, not so that we won't be assigned state values, but we just won't know. The other thing that came in, we're actually meeting with the TASB representative tomorrow, so we didn't have it in time for this meeting, is our insurance rate. There was a 40% increase in our insurance this time, which if you've seen, like a lot of home people have seen that same percentage rate of increase. So it's going to be up to $220,000. That is just our liability, so our buildings, our vehicles, our professional liability. It was 80 when I started, and now it's up to 220, however many years, 13 years later. The way the TASB insurance works, it auto renews at the end of May. So if you wanted us to try to find another provider, we'd have to give them we'd have to have a called meeting in between now and the end of May to, you know, normally they give it to us in enough time that we can get it to you, but they didn't this year. We would not recommend that. We would recommend we go with TASB, and the reason we recommend going with TASB is we don't want to be put in the position of what Dumas was. They had a different carrier than TASB, and there was a lot of hail storms that year as well, and that carrier didn't have enough assets to pay all the claims, and the carrier ended up going belly up, and basically they told Dumas, okay, we're done paying, we're done. And so they ended up with several $1 million worth of roof claims that just didn't get paid. So that's one of the reasons we like staying with TASB, is they actually have, I think it's $4.5 billion in the bank. So they have the assets to weather heavy storm seasons. So that's why we typically stay with them. I always recommend staying with them. We could probably get cheaper insurance somewhere else. We just would run the risk of that carrier not being able to handle the claims. So, are y'all okay with staying with TASB? If not, we'll have to have a called meeting and discuss it.
So you think it's going to go up how much?
It's going to be $220,000, so it went up 40%.
And then our deductible is $250,000?
I believe it's still at that $250,000. To be honest, I didn't look at that portion. We did, y'all chose to pay down last year, which was very fortuitous, to be paid more so that we would have a lower deductible. Let me pull it up real quick. Oh, I think I attached it to the board meeting. Oh, no, I didn't, because we got it in after the, yeah, that's right. Sorry. Let me see. It'll take me just a moment.
We have time to Google.
Oh, you cracked me up. Okay.
Can you spell it?
It's really not that big of a deal. I was just wondering if that was going to stay the same.
It is deductible $250,000. Yes, sir. So, like I said, I mean, we really recommend staying with TASB. If you look at the entire time we've paid TASB, we've paid them less than they paid us out in claims. Now, that doesn't include the interest they get in the money that they've gotten from us, putting it in the bank, but in just raw dollars, they've actually paid us more than we've paid them. So,
Well, everything in the school district, when you have to fix it, is $1 million. So you're putting 500,000 in and get 500,000 back out. Like everything you do is $1 million, at least.
yep, seems like.
Or more.
Yeah.
There's no lack of,
It's always been
instances around here,
250,000.
so.
The deductible? At one time it was 100,000.
Was it?
Yeah, but that was before Winter Storm Uri.
Oh, yeah, I remember
And so since then it went to 250. It would not surprise me if at some point they raise it to 500,000. Just because all insurance companies, these hailstorms that come through and destroy roofs, the insurance companies are struggling. I get newsletters, the monthly insurance, I don't remember what it is, but it's the insurance agencies' newsletters they put out. And a number of agencies that fail every year because they just can't keep up with the claims. Or they don't fail, but they just say, okay, we're done, we're not gonna, as soon as your policies expire, you have to find somebody else. It is astounding, just because of just how much money gets paid out in all these claims. So, if you guys are okay, then I'll bring you the actual renewal in June, but it'll already have auto-renewed through our interlocal agreement.
Not always better.
There is not always better.
It is.
And I said that.
Well, like I said, it's kind of like a hedge for this place.
Yeah.
We know we're gonna spend $1 million a year on something.
Yeah.
Okay. Then the other thing I have is talking about the bond. So I gave you from the financial analyst his timeline for us. If you notice, the only thing, like Doug was like, oh, we're going to meet all this, but the only thing on there in bold is the meeting he's requesting is one on August 14th. I think we're going to end up having a second one when we choose the selection of the underwriter. I probably want to have a meeting then as well to discuss that with you guys. Right now, I need to firm up how we select the underwriter. The underwriter is the person that, when we go out to sell the bonds, they're the ones that physically go out and advertise the bonds and get people to purchase them. Last time in 2014, we did RBC Capital. At the time, they were the #1 underwriter in the state. They're actually #2 now, I think. So they'll be interested in it. We've had 2 other organizations approach us and say, hey, we'd be interested in being your underwriter. One of them, BOK Financial, has the guy that does the templates that we use to understand our school finances, so it wouldn't hurt us to have a relationship with them. So, but I have to go through and see exactly what the process is, but I probably want to come back and talk about it with y'all. So we may have another meeting in July about the selling of bonds. So if you look at the timeline as presented, we would physically get the money in September, mid-September. So we really couldn't start any projects prior to that, except for the ones where we did the reimbursing resolutions. So the track and the roof, which we've already started. We do have a meeting on June 4th. Mr. Garrison, myself, and Courtney will meet with the architect to get him started on the design documents and also to get started on his contract. If you guys who were here in 2014 remember, our attorneys, Walsh Andersons, are very particular about contracts, which is a good thing for us, but it does, if you remember in that bond, it stretched out the process of hiring a CAMR by 6 months. So we want to get started on the architect's contract so we get him under contract. And then he'll do the design documents. We have to have the design documents, which are basically the plans. It's not the full set of plans, but it's the scope of everything to be done actually on paper. Because when we go to hire the construction manager at risk, we have to have that scope so that we can give it to whoever we hire to say, okay, give us a bid on this. Give us your guaranteed maximum price. So you have to have the design documents before you can really move ahead. So that'll be the first step in the process. And those will be documents that we bring back we show you all before we even talk to the construction manager at risk, and we go through each of them. Like I think last time we just projected them up and walked through each document and looked at each drawing to see if there was something we wanted to change. So that'll be pretty much, I mean, it won't be really busy until we hit September, and then after that, once we hire the CMAR, there'll be 2 or 3 meetings involved in that process. Then once the guaranteed minimum, guaranteed maximum price, there'll be a couple meetings in that process. And so next year, so September on, there's probably going to be quite a few meetings involved in the bond process, but just to let you know. Sometimes we can fit them into our normal meetings, and sometimes it'll be like, oh, hey, we need to do a change order, and we need it now, so let's have a meeting this week. So it's the way the process works. Any questions on that? Okay, anything else for me? Because that's all I have for y'all.
I gotta, I'm about to ask this for the next 36 months, I guess. Just so we don't forget about it, because I think it's that important, but and I know it's a long process on the federal funds you've been working on, you know, the reimbursement for the federal property.
The impact aid?
Yeah. And I know, I'm not saying it's moved an inch at all, but I just wanted to ask about it that way. So we don't forget maybe, you know.
Yeah. I did not get the responses back in time to meet the January deadline, so my next deadline is January 31st of 25.
Okay.
I have to get and I still am going to have to spend some money. The next step in the process is to do the public information request from, there's 2 different departments, the Department of Interior, and there's another one, and I can't remember exactly which one it is. And so I have to get responses back to them. And that's the next route, is trying to get a public information request of the Department of Education said I needed the physical deeds. So once I get that, then all I have to do is, then we've got to pay a surveyor to actually survey the land and give us the number of acres in the school district and the number of acres in the federal land. And that's it. That's all we need. And from my discussions with the Department of Education, because I discussed with them several times, I just knew I couldn't meet the January 31st deadline. But once I have that, we absolutely are going to qualify. I'm 100% convinced we are now. I just have to find that one piece of information.
Do you remember, was there a number? Did we have a guesstimate or anything of what?
I think it could be upwards of $1 million.
A year.
A year. Now that's my guess. Now, okay, it also depends on, there's only so much federal impact aid. The more schools that apply for it, the less each school gets.
Sure.
And so it depends on the percentage level that they pay. So if they're at 50%, then I think we'll get 500,000. I mean, and the way what I'm basing the $1 million on is half of our property is federal land. And we raise over $1 million in property taxes right now. Now, this is something that I just thought of that I've never thought of. Every time the state does compression and lowers the amount of property taxes, actually it's going to lower the federal impact aid we're going to get, because it's based on the percentage of property tax that we're losing by them not being there. But it's still, I mean, we still raise over $1 million in local taxes. And so, to me, I mean, from the formulas I've seen, it should be, because half our district is that land, it should be roughly equivalent.
That'd go a long way. And like I said, I really appreciate you working on it. I'm just going to ask you every month.
Okay. I will say I probably won't work on it again until July on my timeline, is when I'm going to start asking them again, because right now we're working on training what our plan is, has been, what Jason and I have discussed, is that more and more Courtney's going to take over the daily tasks, and then my next year is to finish the projects like this and to finish the bond, to get all that type of stuff done. And some of the technology projects, to get them done so that a year from now, all of our projects like that are off the books and we're just maintaining.
Okay.
So that's the idea anyway.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Garrison.
All right. I want to start by touching on the teacher incentive allotment. I want to thank Mrs. Searles, Mrs. Carr, Mr. Drury, Mrs. McCowan, Coach Moose. It's been a ton of work for them, doing this for the teachers, but they all knew it was important for them to get the money they deserve. So I appreciate them for taking that task on and completing that and doing what we needed to for our teachers. As far as TASB next year, the board, it's in San Antonio. We're looking at budget. I told them we probably wouldn't go. Was that the consensus that,
Want to spend the money?
Yeah.
We can do classes here. It'll cost us a ton.
Okay, well, that's what I told him. I thought you would say, so we'll take care of that. I'll get them done. Yeah, okay.
Cost us $10,000 at least.
Yeah, it would be, because San Antonio, it'd be expensive.
It's like we say our deductible.
The employee appreciation banquet, don't forget it, Friday at 1 in the junior high cafeteria. Graduation that night, if you want to meet up here at 6:45 in the admin building. We'll start at 7 for that. All right, the football field. We met with Matt a while back. They came and did some work. They reseeded it. I've got some concerns. The ryegrass they killed out last year came back with a vengeance. I mean, I don't know that it's not worse now than it was before, especially if you look over on our side of the field, on the home side. I mean, it's pretty clumpy. Matt had some ideas. Really, the two main is, we either got to probably go in and resod the thing, or look at possibly, and Stacy's not going to like this word, looking at doing turf. I mean, and so, I just need to, kind of fill y'all out for what direction you want us to go to get it going, because there's things that we can do now, regardless which direction we choose to go. And so, I just kind of, what do y'all think? I need your opinion on this.
I think we would need the financials on land sod to compare to the turf and the payout on the turf. So I can talk on it. We've got the financials on that side.
Because what did we come up with on didn't you say 500 to have it turfed? Sodded 1.7 on the turf or 1.5?
Yeah, it's 1.2 on the turf, and from what the section that we had done with sod was 20,000. From what that section, we'd estimate between 200,000 and 300,000 to sod the whole field.
Does that include all the dirt work?
Yeah. We can't get it done before this season, though. It's just going to take longer than we have available to us. Either direction.
We gotta do something, because it keeps getting worse and worse.
We're concerned that it's not playable.
Last year was pretty bad with the sand everywhere.
That's all resodded though, correct?
The center is resodded. That's actually, as long as the sod takes, I'm actually not really worried about the center. It looks flat and even.
Can you not come in with a machine and scalp that rye out?
They top dressed the entire field, so we're looking at it after it's been top dressed. And he's
I'm
right.
saying where the rye is, can you not come in and they have a machine that'll roll that grass, take it out and put sod back in that area and get rid of the rye?
Yeah, we just couldn't before this season.
They can't cut it out and they can do it in a weekend.
Well, we're working on the track, and we'll be limited on, water and when they can get in there and that type of deal. And so that was our concern. Now, we can talk with Matt and
he's already told me that we can't get it done. He was afraid the sod we put down isn't going to take. But I think it looks like it's already growing to me.
So what are we gonna do if we spend 300,000 and sod doesn't pay?
That is the chance you get when you sod something.
Well, also, and I'm
Put
not
enough
picking on
water
you.
on it, it'll take.
I'm not picking on anybody, but I'm just asking a serious
What
question.
you get, if you
How-
got water on it.
How did it get to that?
Yeah.
What happened? How did it get to this point? Where did we go wrong? Because that's what I'm worried about is if we spend $300,000 on sod and it looks like this in a year or two, then that's gonna be a really bad day.
No, I agree.
A lot of people.
I had voiced that same concern. I mean, I worried about sod. I don't know how we got to this.
I don't know how we got fescue in the middle of it.
You know, because, you know, last year he came in and he killed the rye out, and that's why we had all those big patches everywhere. And then this year, I mean, it came back like crazy.
That didn't work, obviously.
No, that did not work.
And what did we spend to have him come do that? And he's the expert on grass, right?
Is he the
Yeah.
one that did the softball?
Yeah, he did a great job on the baseball and softball fields. I mean,
Yeah,
How long did that take?
he
It took
did that,
1 year to turn
yeah,
those
a year
around.
to turn those around.
I mean, they were almost unplayable 1 year, and the next year they looked great. That's why we've been having him work on the softball, I mean, the football fields, because he did such a good job on those.
How much I got to see comparisons with.
My deal is the turf eventually pays out, grass won't. That's where I'm at, looking at it financially, turf pays out, grass doesn't. Eventually, you're gonna have to redo the grass, and it's money lost, whereas in, well, the 13 years, turf starts paying you, because you're not having to water
They
it.
had 10 up in Stinnett.
Do I?
10 in Stinnett.
Well,
I mean,
Cost them
it's-
$800 to have the field redone.
yeah, and it's gonna get more expensive, but.
Yeah, it'll be another $1 million to have that done.
But if you do
Everything costs
$200,000 worth of grass every 4 years, you're gonna be in the same situation.
Well, strawberry water and maintenance.
On top of water, on top of maintenance.
Now, I will say, you know,
And water on the practice field.
Wash, you gotta start wash.
when we went to, where did we go, Dallas? Got Dallas for Tasby. You know, just in discussion with them guys, you know, you can do, a lot of those guys will guarantee, you know, 10 or whatever years. And I know it's more money, and then they give you another year if they're the ones maintaining. I don't know what all that entails and what that costs. I'm just telling you what the, you know, through that discussion, it was a 10-year warranty.
Well, I will tell you, we've gotten prices from Hellis Construction because they're the ones that do like all of Canyon's fields. They do the vast majority of fields in the Panhandle, but we would go out to, we wouldn't just take them, we'd go out and talk to other people. But just like sometimes the cheapest isn't the best, we could find somebody that would turf it for less. But, you know, we did the same thing with the track, and the first time, or like if you remember the two proposals I brought back to you, that company from Panhandle, you know, they wanted to put a Band-Aid on it, and Hellis is like, no, we gotta fix it right. So, I mean, that is one of the things we'll have to consider is the quality of work of the company. And like on the track, when we hired Hellis to do the track, we contacted several schools that Hellis had put in a track for and looked at the quality of the work. So we do the same thing, so we wouldn't necessarily want to go find the cheapest route. We want to find both, the least amount of money we can spend to get the best thing. I got the quote from Hellis just so that I would have a figure to say, this is how much it's gonna cost at least this.
I'll be honest with you, I would rather it stay grass. If the grass stays good, there's nothing better than fresh cut grass, playing on grass fields. I love grass.
Can we not?
Making the right financial decision, or we're not gonna do it over and over and over because we can't keep grass on the football field. That's kind of where I'm sitting.
I'm with you. I think that if, we need to have somebody teach our maintenance guys how to maintain the field. They taught them how to do the two other fields. I mean, this is no different. Grass is grass. It grows the same way.
I would have thought so, but
It will,
Just-
and I don't like you've got your heat, you can't play when it's hot, it's too hot, the kids get hurt on it, so we're not just looking at money. The NFL, you talk to an NFL player, they all want to go back to grass. They hate turf. They all get hurt on turf, and it's not just the money. The kids also, you're looking at hurting kids, and
can't play on it when it's hot.
You put out, that's all I've done it. But,
I say you can't, I don't know. You gotta do
I
your
mean, you can watch
due
any college
diligence.
game on a Saturday and they're like, it's 114 degrees on the field, it's lame, but it is hot, it's hotter than regular days.
I don't think it's good for the kids. I don't think it's good for our budget, and I don't think it's good for the kids. That's my opinion.
Well, you know, our kids are gonna play on it. If they're not on our field, more than likely they're gonna play on turf, because there's not many grass fields left, to be honest. I mean, and that's not a reason to do it, I'm not saying that, but, I mean, it's, you know, they're gonna play on it regardless whether we have it or we don't, so, I mean, because there's very few grass fields left to, I mean.
There are grants available, and I know we don't have a grant writer or anything like that, or, you know, I don't know if that's an option to help ease a burden, or, you know, or try.
I looked at water conservation grants, and there's just none that we were eligible for. I looked at community playground even type grants, and I could not find any that we were eligible for. And Jason and I talked about this just last week, I think it was. We're in a very weird situation for grants. By the national standards, we're considered urban community because we're within 50 miles of a metroplex. So we're not, rural grants don't apply to us if they use the national standards. If you use the census data, we're not a poor area because we have a lot of people that like work at the plant or retirees. And so according to the census data, we have a very low income rate. So finding grants that apply to us is just very difficult. And I have looked. So it's just, we're just in a really odd position. You know, if we were in somewhere, I don't know, Spearman, you know, they're not anywhere near a city, so all these rural grants apply. They probably have, they don't have as many retirees as we do, so they probably, their low income rate is probably much higher. I mean, it's just, the makeup of our town makes grants
So if
really
we can't do
hard.
anything either way for a year, what are we doing?
Because we need to make a decision. We can't keep putting the decision off.
Well, I think we should ask the community, because if you'd have said that turf word before the bond, I
We
would
did.
guarantee you that would not have passed.
We did, every time we talked about the bond, we said we've asked y'all to do the bond out of local funds. We said that in every meeting we had. So.
I don't think so. I mean,
or
we
do
ask
our
them,
federal funds.
yeah, we ask them for money, and then we're gonna spend, you know, their money on everything but turf, and then we're gonna spend our funds.
We're not doing anything with the bond that's a want. I mean, we're not putting up lights on the baseball field, we're not putting turf on the baseball field, we're not putting turf on the football field.
No, but instead of asking them for their money, we could have spent the money that we supposedly have, and we're gonna spend it on turf.
Well, either way, whether we turf it or whether
They
we
passed
decide
the bond, whether,
it's not a want. If we're gonna have something, we need to take care of it.
and we're not saying
We've
that
discussed that.
turf's the answer. We're
Okay,
saying,
so
we
it's
just-
not- Yeah, it's not, you guys' choice is what the
we're
answer
saying we
is.
want,
We just need
we
to-
want the information to be able to look over it and figure out what's the best option, not just today, but over the next decade or 30 years, whether we're here or not.
Yeah, I'm gonna make that clear. Whether you guys choose turf, whether you guys choose sod, we're good, it's your choice. We just need to know what route we're going. Because what we have now is not working. We have to put money into that.
One thing that you haven't discussed is the new track that is going in, that is correct. And part of the new track, the issues requiring a new track are the drainage. I don't think that was discussed on, that we don't end up having to put a new track in for that same reason.
It's in that analysis about the payout. It's the cost of difference between doing a resurfacing and not. That it pays for itself in 13 years includes that component of it. So we add that if we don't do turf, that we have to replace the track more often. So we haven't mentioned it, you're right, but it's there, kind of, sort of. It's baked into the numbers we gave them.
So if we resod it, would they not fix the drainage problem at that point?
If you try to do the drainage problem, then you're talking several $100,000 additional, probably, if
You're
they
gonna
can.
have to,
We'd have to get an engineer involved. Resodding is just putting, sod on top.
But that's what we talked about when we talked about doing that before we did the track, because we were gonna, fix the drainage, fix the sod or whatever, and then redo the track. And then we decided to do the track, and I know we all discussed, how's that gonna affect the track, because we're not fixing the field. And I'm pretty sure we were told, it's not a big deal, we'll fix the track and then we'll fix the field. But I still think it needs to all be fixed together. Especially if they can't plan on it next year anyway, then we need to fix it. Fix it all.
Yeah, like I said, I
Fix it
think
correctly.
we need hard numbers on complete jobs going away.
Do you have those hard numbers?
I don't have the hard numbers on, I got them at one point on the sod, but I don't remember what they are, and I know the price has changed. I do have the hard numbers again on the turf, because he reached out to me recently and re-upped his quote, but we'll have to talk and get a specific quote on the sod. It won't be talking about the drainage, because we never have actually talked about fixing the drainage. Because by the time you fix the drainage, you're half to 2/3 the cost of doing turf, and it really doesn't make sense to go that route.
I think I get it from him either way, that way we got it.
Yeah. And to try to fix the drainage, we'd have to hire an engineer to come in here. That would take a significant amount.
They're gonna have to fix that if they do turf anyway, right?
Oh, the turf, we don't water anymore.
Well, I get that, but
You still
they're
have
still gonna
drainage.
have to level everything out and do dirt work.
But you're not putting millions of gallons of water on
Right.
that, that's the problem.
No, I get what you're saying, but they're gonna come in and do dirt work with turf.
Well, and they do put that's right, we did talk to the turf people about when they put the turf in, they actually put something that draws the water to the center of the field. I forgot about that. You're correct.
Honestly, this is just an opinion of mine totally. I think on that south end, I think if that was to be fixed and corrected, and sprinklers would probably be pointing in the right directions and not, a big rain events once every, twice a year here. I don't think it's necessarily, I think it's that big hole down there holding water that's about this deep. That's a problem anyways, and I've talked to Jason about it, somebody's stepping off in that thing anyways, off the track. So, I think a lot of that could work itself out either way. But that's just my opinion.
So is next month too late to make a decision?
No, we need to make a decision so that.
Okay, can we do that? Will you get the hard numbers for us, and then we'll just make a decision next week?
Okay.
Okay. All right. That's all I got. That's all you got? All right. Set the next meeting for we got the 12th or the 19th.
It shouldn't have to be on Wednesday, for me. It shouldn't have to be on Wednesday, for me.
Y'all want to do it Monday or like the 10th?
Can't guarantee you, but also, but it's fine. You can do whatever day you want to do. What do you want?
You want to go on a Wednesday or just in case?
Could just be you, I think.
10 sound good to y'all? Okay. So
I won't be here that day.
you be here on the 12th?
Yes.
Okay, we'll do it on the 12th.
Six?
Yes. 6 o'clock. Okay.
Just real quick on, if our field's not playable, do we just play all our games, I mean, I know they would be away, but we play at whoever we're playing, play at their place, or do we try and get quote unquote home games in Porter or Stinnett or?
That's working.
We'll have to figure that out.
It'll also impact organizations like BPA that does the concession stand.
That's their main moneymaker.
Yeah. It'll be a bad deal if we can.
All right.
Do we have to pay to use somebody else's field?
Right, let's call us into executive session to discuss personnel, to hear complaints against certain personnel in public office, and to deliberate professional contracts for professional personnel. You call us into executive session at 7:30.
recommend Tina Solis for a 2024-2025 probationary contract for certified classroom teacher, subject to salary and assignment.
I have a recommendation by Jason. Do I have a motion?
I make the motion to approve Tina Salas for a 2024-2025 probationary contract for certified classroom teacher, subject to salary and assignment.
Motion by Doug. Do I have a second? Second. Second by Mike. All in favor? All in favor, none opposed, motion carries.
All right, I recommend Brady Hilton, Destiny Espinoza, and Tyler Wise for a 2024-2025 probationary dual assignment contract for certified classroom teacher / coach, subject to salary and assignment.
Have a recommendation by Jason. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve Brady Hilton, Destiny Espinoza, and Tyler Wise for 2024-2025 probationary dual assignment contract for certified classroom teachers coach, subject to salary and assignment.
Motion by Logan. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Stacy. All in favor? All in favor, motion carries.
All right, I recommend Julia Rogers for a 2024-2025 probationary dual assignment contract for certified classroom teacher and band director, subject to salary and assignment.
Recommendation by Jason. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve Julia Rogers for a 2024-2025 probationary dual assignment contract for certified classroom teacher / band director, subject to salary and assignment.
Motion by Doug. Do I have a second? Second. Second by Mike. All in favor? All in favor? None opposed, motion carries.
All right, I recommend a certified administrator probationary contract through 2024-2025 school year for Sean Jones.
Recommendation by Jason. Motion?
I move to approve a certified administrator probationary contract through 2024-2025 school year for Sean Jones.
A motion by Chad. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Stacy. All in favor? All in favor, none opposed, motion carries.
All right, I recommend Johnny Cordell for a 2024-2025 term contract for certified classroom teacher, subject to salary and assignment.
Recommendation by Jason. Motion?
I'll make the motion to approve Johnny Cordell for a 2024-2025 term contract for certified classroom teacher, subject to salary and assignment.
Have a motion by Doug. Do I have a second? Second. Second by Logan. All in favor? All in favor, none opposed, motion carries. Right. Right, I'll make a motion to adjourn at 8:12. Do I have a second? Second. Second by Mike. All in favor? All in favor, none opposed, motion carries. We're adjourned at 8:12.